Let's talk about the comments on YouTube because it's getting to be a massive problem. And this is universally. That is not just for me or any other creator, it's also for you too. It's slightly more of a problem for us, I feel like, though, and I'll explain why. But effectively, if you go, say, to my channel or any other channel, but especially a smaller creator's channel, which becomes a lot more important for the interaction, for the algorithmic feeding reasons, so that we can have our content shared much further and wider for more people to actually see so we can grow, you can leave a comment and in the bell, of course, that's your notifications as a creator or anybody, you can drop it down and see replies and comments to you or somebody else's video or of course your own video, as you likely know. However, we need to actually see your guys' comments, obviously, in order to be able to reply to you and interact. Very often, I have found over the years, and even more so each year, it just gets worse and worse, if not now each month, that for some stupid reason, comments won't even show up for me until weeks, and I mean weeks later. Sometimes it's multiple days later. It's now gotten to a point where it's between an average of 1 to 3 weeks before a comment will show up for me on any of my videos. And I don't know why. And that's for the ones that don't show up. It's literally like I'm playing the lottery, and half the time they'll show up immediately and I'll get a notification. Half the time they won't show up in notifications. So if you go to, of course, Creator Studio, just in case you didn't know this, this is what it kind of looks like. So, community used to be called comments. They decided to call it community. Not that long ago, in fact, literally just a week ago, 2 weeks ago, actually, I think it was more like 2 to 3 weeks ago, you could go to here. It was still called comments, and under mentions would be held. So it wasn't actually mentions, it was called held because they were comments that were being held by the algorithm for potentially violating terms or conditions or whatever else. And I had found comments there occasionally. Now it's mentioned. So, like on my other channels, of course, I link to this channel and the other channels that are active. So naturally, that's going to fall under mentions. There's your ads, right? So, of course, that's going to happen. So, like, this is pretty much just me mentioning myself on my other channels. Which is even stupider for that reason. But you'll actually notice something. This is actually perfect. I chose this time to do it. This one I got notified for last night. These two I had zero notifications for. I've received zero. I did not know I had these comments on the video because it didn't give me a fucking notification right here. So I didn't know it. So now I almost have to go into the studio in order to check to see if any of you guys have left me comments. It's incredibly irritating and frustrating. You might think, oh, it's a basic inconvenience, but it doesn't take you much extra time. Well, of course, but still, it shouldn't be like that because this is actually in a way kind of proof that Google is obsessed with making it more and more increasingly, like they just keep increasing the amount of inconvenience they possibly can and the amount of discomfort and the amount of irritation, like unnecessary feature changes on us creators, proving they do not give a damn about any of us. It's really annoying. But here's the thing. There is a scary high frequency that your comments would end up under the held, which is now replaced by mentions. That means that I had the ability to review your comment and check to see if it actually violated guidelines, whether it's my own, which I don't really have, or YouTube's or whatever else. If it didn't belong, which it doesn't matter how critical some comment is, I'm gonna leave it. That's just the way it is. Unless it's like particularly like threatening or violent or otherwise just needlessly fucking cruel, obviously sometimes I would consider removing them. I think I've done that once before. But that's it. Like otherwise heavily critical comments, I don't tend to remove those because it doesn't why would I do that? It doesn't make any sense. That's kind of an inevitability, not just being on the internet because everyone's always angry all the time for some reason, but at the same time, that it's just an inevitability in terms of human communication. It's natural. It's going to happen. So obviously I'm not going to fucking remove those comments. Still, you know, not that they were that common, but I wouldn't remove those. Now, throughout my basically decade, because January 17th of 2015 is when I officially first uploaded to this channel, as I consider the launch of the channel. So it's basically been a decade now, because it's November 18th of 2024. So for the 10 years I've been doing this channel, I have only ever removed, I think, a total of maybe 5 comments. I think actually 6, because one of them I was not thinking of, which was a comment from my eldest brother, because he was clearly probably on one of his meth trips or something, because I don't really want a comment like that on my channel. It's just kind of weird. 6 total comments. One was the one I mentioned just a minute ago. Then my brother's, so that's 2. And of the remaining 4, I'm pretty sure all of them were bots. So they were trying to do scams. So like naturally, those are the only ones. In a decade, that's really good numbers. But those are the only ones that they were willing to show me under held. Now, before like 2016, 17, I most, if not all of them, probably did show up there. And I didn't really make good use of it back then. I'll admit that much. But still, this is why it's such an important thing to have, is because this reflects really horribly on creators. All creators, but especially small creators, where people want that interaction. They want to be able to express themselves freely. I as much want to do that, which is why I have huge issues with their guidelines here on YouTube in the first place, and why I actually really support places like Rumble. It's unfortunate that they kind of lent into a more socio-political kind of market, but even then, you know, it's great because it's more free speech, and I'm all about that. Like, I want, the best freedom is the ability to fully express yourself without having some stupid repercussions, because somebody might get offended or something. All the more reason why the held would be great to still have here, basically held for review, because the algorithm has an obsession with yanking and yoinking comments that have no business being yoinked or flagged. Now, I guess apparently they just are permanently deleted. They don't even hold them for review anymore. If the bot said, the algorithmic bot of Alphabet Incorporated, aka Google, aka YouTube, our overlords from Palo Alto, California, decide, nope, that's a violation, or nope, that's potentially concerning, or nope, that is potentially offensive, or nope, that's too critical, or nope, this, or nope, that. Permanently gone. We have zero control over that now. We will never see your comment. And a lot of times, which is the grand point here, right? A lot of times, the biggest issue with this is simply the fact that most of those things that were put under held, in my experience, are innocuous. They are completely fine. There's not a single thing that the bot should have thought should be flagged for. There wasn't a link. There wasn't like some weird scam language. It clearly wasn't a bot that was producing it, which is kind of ironic because you're relying on a bot to detect bots. And for some reason, they're typically very bad at that. You also have profanity or whatever, which why not allow that? Like, I liked having the ability to at least have the chance to review and see, oh, of course, it was another normal comment, or it was another funny comment, or a supportive comment that for just no particular reason, the bot's like, and that's flagged. I don't have the ability to do that anymore. That reflects horribly on the creator, because now it's even more likely that people are just going to automatically assume that we are deleting comments, that I'm deleting your comments, and I'm not doing that. I cannot emphasize that enough. And likelihood is, most of us, especially smaller creators, are not deleting your comments. We're not removing them. It's just the system auto flags them for absolutely no fucking reason, and poof, they're gone to the ether forever. Because they just can't stop fucking with shit. It's really frustrating. These things, like even the mentions shift from taking away held to replace it with mentions, no creators fucking asked for that. None of us asked for it. We didn't ask for it. We didn't mention it because this is fucking stupid. But like, this is what Google does with YouTube. They don't actually care. They don't actually listen. Of course, they're going to claim in the public PR space, so we really want your input and insight. We really want to hear what you want and what you need as a creator. But they don't. They just immediately throw it out and burn it in fucking fire in an industrial incinerator. Immediately. The moment they get your word, anybody's word, it's gone into an industrial incinerator. They just throw it away because they don't actually care. They only say that and do that because it's formality. That's it. It's like a fucking mental game. They don't actually give a fuck about you. They never have, they never will. The only thing they care about, as a typical technocratic corporation, is their bottom line. That's it. All they care about is appeasing their shareholders and making as much profitability as possible. They don't care about anything else. Except, apparently, to fuck with us and decide, what are the things that people liked the most? Let's remove those, or let's heavily change them for absolutely no fucking reason, just to really piss them off. And let's also keep adding things or subtracting things or changing things that literally nobody asked for, that were perfectly fine as they were. So, again, ultimately, this is an important video to make, not just for my own sake or for your sake as a user and or creator, just as a universal kind of notation of like, this is what's happening. I can't review your comments anymore that are innocuous, that are fine. I can't fucking see it. So if your comment goes and disappears into the ether and you think somebody's deleted it, think again, because I guarantee they didn't fucking delete or remove it at all. They probably didn't even know you made the comment because the fucking algorithm said flagged. Delete. And that's it. I guess Alphabet has the final fucking say on everything now. It's super irritating. So it does fuck you guys over because you might spend, if you're like anything like me, where you're kind of long-winded and you're kind of detail-oriented, and you kind of can write like short mini essays or something in your comments, which personally I think is great. I love that people do that now more than ever, even though more people are therefore complaining about it. But the point is, like, if you're one of the people who spend a decent amount of time really thinking and building your comments up, you're fucked. There's a strong chance that comment immediately is flagged and removed for absolutely no seeming reason. And you might be right. It might literally be a case of there was no reason for this. There's no guidelines that could have possibly been violated or gotten curbed up to the boundary of it. Like, it could be the most kind, thoughtful, funny fucking comment, and it will still just randomly get yoinked into the ether because algorithm said so. It's super fucking stupid. This is, now at this point, just for my own sake and you guys on my channel, just know if your comment seems to just disappear out of nothing, if you make a comment and it just doesn't show up, I'm not removing or deleting it. That's 100% Alphabet that's doing that. And yes, for the record, I'm talking about the parent corporation of the umbrella that is the one that owns Google, thus owns YouTube. So yeah, it's really frustrating and it's got to stop, which it won't. It's just going to get worse, clearly, and it's really, really irritating. Again, like I said, I didn't get advised or notified about either of these comments at all. Perfect case in point, right? That's really frustrating. And who knows how many other comments are just being removed. Actually, here's a thought that you might not know. For smaller creators, the smaller of a creator somebody is, the more important comments are. Not just the likes and dislikes, not just the shares or anything like that, you know, again, feed the algorithm, right? It's the comments are arguably the most important thing, especially that really push in the algorithm and get it pushed out to more people so more people can see it. More people will be suggested this video. Because again, you know, it's a case of, well, obviously more people enjoy this one and are engaging with this, so therefore, inevitably that other people will too, right? It's common sense. It's basic stuff. It damns us even further because we need those comments. If 20% or even 10% of a small channel's comments are automatically murdered into the ether, never to be seen again, without us even knowing they existed in the first place, that you took the time to make a fucking comment and engage, that like double damns us. That screws us harder than anything. And that's really fucking annoying. It's really, really fucking stupid. And I've been wanting to make a video on this for a bit. So then the removal of held just kind of was the catalyst for that. I have seen in my experience in the notifications, a comment shows up on one of my videos, and like apparently it's a comment that genuinely exists, but then when I click on it to expand it so I can actually read your whole comment, it's not there. It just doesn't show up. It doesn't fucking exist on my video. You made it, it's there, it notified me, but as soon as I click it, it doesn't exist. I can go to YouTube Studio. I can go here when they still had held. Wasn't there. It's not in any of the comments. It's not under the held section. It just didn't exist. So it's obviously that the bot said, nope, yoink. Why? Every time I've seen that, and there's been a massive uptick of that, every single time I've seen that, it seems like a completely innocuous and fine comment. Like, yeah, there's been a few of those where people have been clearly frustrated for whatever reason, or they just clearly were intensely in disagreement. But still, like, what? Like, it's so stupid, bro. It's so stupid to deal with this stupid fucking platform and all the constant shit that on fuckery they're pulling. It's annoying. And I've already received a handful of people assuming I'm deleting comments or replies on comment threads, including on one of my JW videos. I don't remember which one it was. And it's just like, bro, I never fucking remove comments, even if they're extremely harsh and critical, because that's your freedom of expression. I don't have to agree with it. I don't have to agree with your method of giving that comment. But I'm not going to not support your ability to freely express yourself in that way. That's fine. Like, I don't remove comments. Plus, something I guess people in general need to learn is that if you think a creator is removing replies on a comment thread, especially if it's not directly to the creator in that comment thread, we're not going to be notified of those comments you're making. We're not going to see it because you're having a conversation with somebody else. Whoever the heck you're replying directly to, or whoever, even if you don't reply directly to anybody in a comment thread, but you're replying to that person's comment on a video, it goes directly to that person that either you're replying to or that you're commenting on their comment of. It doesn't go to us. We have no fucking clue that there's a conversation going on in the comments section of our videos because we're not directly involved anymore. It's now between you and somebody else or some other people. So, in fact, in example, this comment, this reply to me, is only going to be notified to me. It's not going to be notified to anybody else in the comment thread. It's not going to be notified to the creator of the video. It's just not going to happen because it has nothing to do with the creator. So they're not going to be notified. And it has nothing to do, in this case, anymore with the other person. Because again, it's between me and that other person. So therefore, you're not going to see that. The creator is not going to know that. So if you guys are having some conversation, there's no way we know that you're doing that. Unless we literally intentionally go to one of our videos and go to check to see if people are hosting conversations on those videos and then read through those replies, potentially interacting with those or putting our 2 cents in those. Which, by the way, I just don't do that. So maybe I should, but I don't. I'm kind of like a one and done type of person. Once I've watched something or once I've read something or once the main, in this case as a creator with a video, the main glut of comments come through is the actual comments on the video or replies to me. That's it. I don't go back and look. I definitely probably should, but I just don't do that. Long story longer, the point of me mentioning that aspect of things is that that's one of the places I have been accused of deleting comments, which is like, this is what you need to understand, is I have no power or control over that. I don't get notifications because you're hosting conversations with somebody else. So if one of your comments or replies in a comment thread gets removed, that's 100% Alphabet Inc. you should be taking your issue to. Our overlords of Palo Alto, California are your problem, not me, not the creators. I'm not doing that. And I don't even know you're hosting a conversation until you actually literally added me in it. Then I see that you guys had a back and forth. And unfortunately, you're right. One of your comments apparently was removed because there's missing context here. I don't see what the I can't see what I'm missing, right? So, again, just full disclosure. This is the reality of what as a creator we have to deal with. Even more so again as a small creator like myself, we have to deal with consistently is fuckery from Google. Unnecessary, stupid fuckery. It's infuriating for me personally. One of the main reasons is just because it's so inefficient and it's the antithesis of common sense. Because it's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? That age-old term. If it isn't broken, don't fix it. In other words, don't touch it. Don't try to alter it. It's fine. It works as intended. There's no need to fuck with it. But apparently, the business philosophy and the tech philosophy and minded people at Google are like, no. If it's especially if it's loved and it's super functional and exactly as people want it, well, then we really need to fuck with it even harder. It's really fucking annoying. And again, it doesn't matter anything we say or do, they're not gonna fucking change a thing in our favor. They're not gonna give a fuck. Not in your favor as just a simple user, not in our favor as creators. It's never gonna fucking happen. And they've proved that time and time again, where they pretty much just not only flagrantly ignore stuff, but then they go out and they fucking destroy it. Whatever the heck it is that like the mass majority of, say, creators insist upon. And then they go and add a bunch of useless fucking features that nobody asked for to try to make itself, say, more like Twitch or something. And it's just like, bro, fuck you and fuck off. It's really irritating. But anyway, I digress. So, I've made my points because I just really need to get this rant out. So, there you go. That's the reality of what has been happening. So, yeah. So, again, if you think I'm deleting comments, I guarantee to you with 100% certainty, you can be sure that is not at all reality. I'm not doing that. It is Google that's doing it automatically in my stead and without even notifying me of your comment, let alone allowing me to review it for myself. And it's really agitating. Have a nice day and stay safe out there. Or not. It's your choice, I guess. I don't know, punch a sub sandwich in the face. Punt an infant 50 feet to a truck. I don't know. Leave me alone.